Hello, and welcome to another episode of The End of the Search. This one I call it, You're Never Connected, You Simply Are. And it's based on a comment somebody made on a video, and the comment says, I have been trying to connect with this awareness, and I have moments where I am. But then, a few hours later, I get lost in the mind, in the world, in addictive thought patterns. But it isn't like you connect with this presence and then you escape reality. The mind takes over, especially when the body is stressed. I get sucked into the world again. I mean, even if you are connected with this awareness, the body and mind it inhabits is still in this mad world. I realize I am not the seeming character and body-mind, and I can connect with this awareness, even though I am speaking through the mind now. Maybe I'm progressing in the right direction, as a couple of weeks ago in this seeming life where I identified with the character, I had never connected with this deeper consciousness, observer, awareness. Okay. The problem here is the word connected. You see? He's speaking from the person, from the idea of a me that is separate from that or disconnected from what I am. And sometimes I feel connected and sometimes I don't feel connected. The question that I usually ask is, what kind of preconceived ideas you have about what being connected is? You see, all these beliefs have to be dropped because you can never not be connected because you always are. It's not about connection or disconnection. You always are no matter what. If you drop any ideas of how you think you may feel, you see, because maybe at some points the person may feel, I don't know, happy, tranquil or something and may say, oh, this is connection. But when he doesn't or she doesn't feel that way, I'm disconnected. You see? No. You may be distracted with thoughts, yeah, but you were never disconnected. It just so happens that in that particular moment, distraction happens. You see? It's like, imagine that you're sleeping and you're dreaming, right? And in the dream, if you feel like you're tranquil, you may say, I am connected. And if you feel that you're not tranquil, you may say, I am disconnected. No, because tranquility and intranquility, they're both part of a dream, but the fact that you are the mind that is dreaming the dream has never changed at all, just because the sequence in the dream has changed. See, you're never disconnected, you always are. And we're pointing to the fact that we are. Maybe what the person is trying to point to is that sometimes it feels good, it feels wonderful, and sometimes it doesn't feel that way. And consequently, when I feel wonderful, when I feel, I don't know, whatever I think I should feel when I'm connected, I associate that with being connected. But when I'm not feeling, when I caught up in the world of appearances, I feel that I am disconnected. But again, you're never disconnected. It just so happens that in the movie in which you seem to be a part of, there are moments where there's an awareness that you are, and there are moments that it seems as though you forget, but you are always the ever-present, the space, like you are always the background, whether there is forgetfulness or whether there is not forgetfulness, you see? So, this is why, again, and then when we talk, the person talks about maybe I'm progressing or so. You see, again, the problem is that then there's an assumption that there's a time in which feeling in a particular way means that I was not connected and now I'm progressing too. But this idea of progression, still identification with the character, with the sense of the one that I think I am. And this is the whole core issue in this particular comment, you see? Because it's an identification with a separate entity that now sometimes feel one way, sometimes doesn't feel the other way, and now it adds the idea of progression. 5 years ago I used to feel in a particular way, but now I have been advancing because I seem to be more aware. But the question is, who is that one that is claiming to be aware? You see? These videos are not feel-good videos. It's not about feeling in a particular way. They're pointing to a truth, to a reality that is transcend the mind, that transcends the conceptual mind, the conceptual thinking, in which everything is welcome. You see, right now I seems to be having an eye infection. Okay, it's just a happening, but that doesn't mean that I'm disconnected. It just means that this is an appearance that is taking place in what I am. And in the appearance that is taking place, or seem to be taking place in what I am, which is doesn't mean disconnection. It just means that there's a scene in the movie called Nick having an eye infection. Also, there's a part of the scene is Nick taking some drops because the doctor says you should take this to get rid of it. You see, but none of that affect at all the fact that I am. You see. Even if you find yourself in an argument with someone, an argument is a happening in the play, but that doesn't mean you're disconnected. It simply implies that right now the scene that is presented in the movie called You is an argument. You see? So if you get rid of this idea of how you should feel when you're connected, you see, we're just pointing to the fact that I am. Yes, the mind seems to be a distraction. There's an awareness that I am. But again, this is not something that we talk about. This is just a recognition of the fact that I am. You see? So, to a certain extent, I kind of understand maybe what the person is trying to say here when it says that sometimes I feel that I am connected, meaning that sometimes I am lucid or something like that. You could say that. And when I feel the body's stressed or something, which is another thing here, the body's never stressed. The body is part of the projection. It just so happens that when there's a particular feeling or sensation that takes place, immediately the mind goes into the feeling and the sensation and claim that the body's stressed, and when the body's stressed I feel in a particular way, I forget. No. In my case, again, there's an eye infection. And it's uncomfortable. But that doesn't mean that I'm disconnected or I lost the fact that I am. I still am. Just so happens that right now this is an experience that is happening. Let's not make this complicated. Let's not try to give any attributes to this, because this is the most ordinary thing. It's life, and you are alive. Now what you're learning is to recognize that you are. And in this amness, again, you'll have all sorts of plays. Sometimes you'll forget, sometimes you'll remember. But the forgetfulness and the remembering, they are both part of the play, and you are not the play, you are the background in which the play seems to happen or seems to appear. You see? It could be said that as this becomes clear, then what you will notice is that there's no distinctions. You see? Somebody once says, what is the difference between an enlightened master and someone who's not enlightened? Well, the difference is that the one who's not enlightened thinks that there's a difference, and the one who's enlightened knows that there is not. See? So enlightenment doesn't mean a particular attribute, a particular attitude, or the particular experience. No, it's just recognizing there's no difference. There's no difference whether it's a eye infection or a stomach virus or going running or having a wonderful experience with a friend. See, there's no difference. It's all the same. But in the comment here, you're establishing a difference. When I feel connected, I feel in a particular way. When the body is stressed, it means that I am not connected. Before, I used to feel in a particular way, so I must be gradually advancing. You see, you're establishing differences. But there's no differences. All that there is what is. And we're pointing to what is, with the appearance of differences, or the seeming appearance of differences on the surface. You see? And again, this idea of thinking that life is going to feel in a particular way is another another strategy of the mind to try to hold on to the sense of identity, to the character, to this idea of a me. And this whole question, this whole comment is about this idea of a me. Look how I feel, look what I used to feel. Sometimes I feel connected, sometimes I don't feel connected. I may be progressing. It's all about me. You see, there's a center, there's a seeming center there. What we're pointing here is that there is no center. You see, it's just what is. With whatever seems to be happening. Again, with the seeming forgetfulness and the seeming remembering, it doesn't matter. There's no levels. Nobody's advancing in any particular direction, because even when you point here the idea that maybe I'm progressing in the right direction, as a couple of weeks ago is a thought in the mind right now. But the mind uses that thought to believe that there's such a thing as time. You see, I made a video which is about delusion of time. I'll put the link is in the description. Check that out. There's no time. All that there is what is. Right now you are. You cannot not be. There's no progressing. There's no past. There's no future. It's just what is. Whether there's forgetfulness or whether there's remembering, you still are. You always are. You're never disconnected, because you can never be disconnected from that which you have never disconnected from. You simply are. End of story. And well, this is the inspiration that came through. I hope it served. And as always, may peace permeate the mind so that love can be extended.